Hello and welcome to another amazing episode of Crush Your Mountain Wellness. I want to ask you, have you ever been a refugee? In this case, have you ever been a dieting refugee? And what does it really mean to be holistic in your approach to life, to wellness, to health? Well, I have with me today someone who is truly amazing. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to love her accent as much as I do, okay, because she's absolutely delightful. Let me introduce to you Miss Lynne Wadsworth, the founder of Holistic Health and Wellness and host of the Living Life Naturally and the Energized Healthy Women's Club. She's on a personal mission to help you live the life you were meant for, one filled with vitality and confidence, free from what's been holding you back from experiencing all you are meant for in your lifetime. You know, until she was in her 50s, and, you know, that's a surprise to me. I put her about mid-30s. Her life was filled with sickness, disease, and debilitating anxiety. She was a yo-yo dieter, addicted to sugar, and constantly fatigued. She suffered from chronic migraines, immune and hormonal imbalances, IBS, that's irritable bowel syndrome, and digestive health issues. As nasty as all of that was, this was the worst part. The weight kept creeping on. The wrinkles were getting deeper, and the midlife hormones were kicking in. At her lowest ebb, she hated looking into the mirror. What she saw made her feel old, fat, depressed, and hopeless. She was miserable. By that point, she had become a dieting refugee, but she is no longer that. She is on a mission to help others to break free of all the challenges that she herself is so very well familiar with. Let me again say, Lynne Wadsworth, my dear, you are 30 years younger than you swear you are. Welcome to Crush Your Mountain.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
You know, tell me, what makes you so passionate about what you do?
Mostly because of my own journey, because I have been there, done that, and know what a miserable life it can be to have no real hope that things can get better, to have no way out of the situation that you find yourself in, and just to feel like you hate yourself, you don't like the way you look, you don't like the way that you feel, but you just don't know where to turn to change things. So I love the way you call it being a dieting refugee, because that's a term I hadn't heard before, and that really is a great way to put it.
Well, now we know that you are you certainly don't sound like you're from Boston. So tell us where you're from.
Yes, I'm originally from England, a fairly large city called Coventry, the one that was famous because it was bombed so badly in the war, and also because Lady Godiva is from there. And I met my military husband when I was still living there, and he was stationed fairly close by. And I ended up coming to the States, and we did go back to England for a while, which was great for me, great for my family. But I have lived here for so many years now, and I'm so Americanized, and I'm an American citizen that although home is always England, this is really where I love to be. And I actually live in Florida at the moment. We live halfway between Tampa and Orlando. My husband is one of those unusual men who's a native Floridian. We don't have too many of those, but he's actually from the north of Florida. So we finished our military career out here in the Tampa Bay area and had no intention of staying here. We were going back out to Utah because we loved it. But our kids were in school, they got their friends, so here we are, and now with all my grandchildren, there's no way I'm moving.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you. Well, we certainly are glad that you're here, and you brought the bangers and mash to Florida with that beautiful accent.
Yeah.
Those of you that don't know bangers and mashes, That's an English dish. It's made with potatoes. It's made with sausage. It's good stuff. Sticks to your ribs. I don't eat it often.
I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat it at all. But
They've got plant-based sausage now. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't taste the same, and American sausage definitely does not taste like English sausage. So,
no, that's very true as well. That's not true. Yeah. My family's from the West Indies, and so I've got that. My grandmother actually spent some time in England before she came here. And so, and God knows, she always would say, I was a servant under the crown of King George, you know. So she is always saying that and singing Rule Britannia. I don't know why, you know, but that's the way she was. Tell us something. You know, you said that you dealt with the challenges of health and lack of wellness prior to your 50s. So tell us a little bit about that and how you found yourself spiraling down.
So I was really very ignorant. I mean, coming up in England, we ate pretty healthily, but then around the time I came to the States, you know, I got very Americanized with the way of eating. I was totally enamored with the fact that I could go into a grocery store and I could buy a loaf of bread and it would be good for 2 or 3 weeks. And I had no clue that it was actually poison that I was putting into my body or what chemical additives did. So really, until I moved to the States, I was pretty healthy, other than when I had my first child, I started with the migraines, but they were really not bad. So actually, I didn't start too much cereal dieting until I was here, although I was a lifetime member of Weight Watchers because I had always been a person to watch my weight. But it wasn't really until I got here that I began to notice that the more I ate, and of course, I have to admit, I would go home to England and I would load up my suitcase with English groceries, with English chocolate, and I would just binge eat. I had no idea at that time you could be a sugar addict. You know, I just was enjoying this whole lifestyle over here and all the different foods and had no cap on when to stop eating or what was the wrong thing to eat. I really was pretty dense in that area. And I hate to say that, but I really didn't have the knowledge I have now. So now I do. I'm accountable for what I do and what I put into my body. So I tried every fad diet out there because when I was making this change to my lifestyle, there really was a negligible amount of exercise. It was all processed foods because, as I say, I thought, oh, this is wonderful living in a world where everything is quick. Let's just do it all quickly. And I did start putting on weight. So I did these fad diets. Many of you probably remember the cabbage soup diet, one of my all-time most memorable. But I followed it. I did diet pills. I did the B12 shots. I mean, whatever was out there, I did it. But what started happening was the more I did it, I started feeling unwell. I got a lot of inflammation. I didn't recognize it as that at the time. I got to the point where my migraines were literally daily. In pain all the time. I started with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, tired all the time. I know you mentioned that, but I literally could fall at my desk asleep at 3 o'clock almost every day. I never could get enough sleep. I never felt like I got energy. And I didn't know that you didn't get your energy from a cup of coffee to keep you going. So things really went from bad to worse for me. And of course, all during that time, menopause hit. And even though I'd had a partial hysterectomy, I still had menopausal symptoms because I still was ovulating. So that kind of hit in there and my life was miserable. And I went up and down in weight. I tried diets, even with my church. And I actually got to the point that, and this is kind of because people think, oh, you're a serial dieter, so you're overweight. I actually got to the point of being anorexic at one point. I got down as low as 96 pounds and 5'2". I thought I still looked fat. My family just thought I looked sick and I needed to do something. But it all has an effect on your body. Your body starts breaking down and you just don't even realize it. So over the last 10 years, one of my friends from England came over and she had just been to a nutrition school over there. And we started talking about different things. And I was by then interested in health and wellness. And I decided I would look for some answers in my own life. So I started looking for somewhere I could go and study and found somewhere here in the States. And at the same time, I was going through a program for migraines. We're very lucky here in Tampa at the time that I was going through this. We had a rehabilitation center attached to our largest hospital. And I didn't realize at the time, but found out it was a holistic approach to helping you with your migraine headaches.
Now just a quick question, if you don't mind. So, because you use that word there, so a lot of folks don't understand what holistic really means and why it's so important for optimum health and wellness. Would you explain that to us?
Yeah. So it's, when you're thinking, there's a couple of ways to think about holistic health. So if you think about holistic health, it's a more natural approach. However, it's also a very circular whole answer to health. So holistic health isn't just about eating right. It takes into account every part of us. So you hear often people talk about the mind, body, spirit connection, but also with holistic health, you've got, of course, the spirituality, the emotional, the physical, the relationships, you've got the mindfulness, you've got your mindset, you've got the exercise routines. I mean, it's the whole package. And one thing they taught us in school was they had what they called a wheel of life. And so it was very interesting. You take a quiz to see where on the scale you are with things like your money, with things like your mindset, your exercise, your eating, your sleeping, your hydration, every aspect of your life, and you see where you might be stronger in some ways than others. So we want to have a wheel approach, a whole wheel effect. So it's one reason I call my podcast Living Life Naturally, because I try to teach about how you can live life naturally. So when you live life naturally does not mean that you can't take supplements. It doesn't mean you can't ever take medications, because obviously you have to be under the care of a doctor if you have a disease. But it does mean that you eat as naturally and holistically as you possibly can. So when I'm thinking about a diet, I don't think about a diet as being, I'm now going to lose weight. A diet to me is a healthy lifestyle, the way that you eat. That's the holistic approach to eating. When you're eating holistically, you don't deprive yourself. You don't eat a whole bunch of processed foods, because you're looking for the most wholesome way that you can eat that's going to benefit your body. So one of the keys with holistic health is learning to cue into your body. What is it that your body's telling you? Is your body tired? Is your body not reacting well to a certain food? Is your body different now than it was? So for example, I used to love yogurt, still love yogurt, but it's not something I digest now like I used to. So I had to switch to like an almond-based or coconut-based yogurt. So our bodies change as we grow older. So it's staying in tune with what your body is, how it reacts, and how you feel. Because when we have energy, real energy, it's not what we get in a can, it's not what we get in that cup of coffee. It comes from within, and I call it real energy because it's natural energy, and it can get you from the beginning of the day to the end of the day feeling great, having that natural energy within you.
That's beautiful. I'm going to tell you, so we're going to run a couple of things here by you, friends. So keep this in mind, that basically holistic is treating the whole person. As Lynn mentioned, it comes down to not just what you eat, but how you're eating, who you are being when you're eating. It comes down to how we're living our lives that affect our health. What do we have around us, the energies that we have around us, and also it comes down to our connections as well.
Yes.
You know, all that is very important. Now, she said something very interesting. She mentioned she discovered this bread that lasted forever. Okay, so now here's the thing about it. I remember when Wonder Bread came out, or at least somewhere time after that. And yes, it was a wonderful bread because it lasted forever. Little did they know that that stuff had started all sorts of chemicals that affected our bodies, and they're finding out more about things. This is what I want people to understand, why I work with people the way I do, and why Lynn works with people the way they do. Because there is a microbiome system that you have to be aware of on your body that's affected by what you put in it. You're made up of 6 trillion cells, but you are made up of 7 quadrillion microflora, fauna that's right there on your body, bacteria of all sorts. So all these things go into the mix when it comes to treating one's body in a holistic manner, and the doctors are spending 15 minutes with you and giving you medication and then sending you on your way. You can do better, and that's what a young lady like Lynn here does, and that's what I like to do. Now, speak a little bit more about how you and your clients make change so that they're not overwhelmed, because all of this new information can just come right at them and they're standing
Right.
like a truck. Tell us a little bit more about how we work with clients.
So in my own life, first of all, let me say, for me, it was an all or nothing because I had migraines on a daily basis. I had to rapidly make lifestyle changes in my life. Because it really was my life on the line. So unless I'm dealing with somebody that's got something dramatic or very serious going on, normally I'm known as the lady who helps you implement simple step-by-step healthy habits that will last you a lifetime. So it depends on the person. For somebody, we can be working on 1 or 2 habits at a time. For other people, they just like to work on 1 habit at a time. And we like to get that embedded into our minds so that when people leave me and they've been successful, they've learned what they need to learn, that is stuck in their mind for the rest of their life, and they have learned one of the pillars of health, one of those healthy lifestyles that will take them through a lifestyle change and will last them for a lifetime. So just even something as simple, and I'm going to use this as the simplest thing, is hydration. So many of us are confused with hydration. Many people think, well, I can have my cup of coffee in the morning, there's a cup of liquid. So my mother drank black tea all of her life. And I remember her saying to me, well, you know, I drink 7 or 8 cups of tea a day, so I'm hydrating. And I'm like, no, Mom, every cup of tea that you have is a diuretic. So you are losing hydration with every cup that you have. So you need to have 1 of equal value just to make it even. So we are currently, the research is showing we need to be drinking half of our body weight in fluid ounces. So we need to be making up our day drinking at least 8 8-ounce glasses of water a day. Now, it can be sparkling water, it can be regular water, it can be infused water, lemon water, it can be herbal tea, but it should not be coffee and it should not be black tea. So when we're dehydrated, it can cause disease, it can cause headaches, it can cause so many problems that we're just not aware of, because drinking water sounds so simple, but it's a key element in living a healthy lifestyle.
Yes, indeed. Now, I love that you mentioned the water and hydration, because when we drink water, a lot of water, and we drink nothing but the water, then it can get to the other problem where it's flushing our electrolytes. So when we do that, mineral water is one thing. And what I like to do, I like to drink San Pellegrino, okay, because it's got the minerals by law, pH balance by law. There in Italy, I got that from Dr. Stephen Gundy. I did not come up with that myself. But also, the fact of the matter is, sometimes you might want to take a little pinch of Hawaiian or Himalayan pink salt and put it in there.
Yes.
Keep that going. So that's a beautiful thing that you mentioned. The other thing that you mentioned too was basically the 4 pillars of holistic treatment, and you touched on that. I just want to bring that a bit more. So that's your heart set, your mindset, your soul set, and your health set. So we deal with being a health coach, and I mean, I'm just so excited that you're here. I'm tearing up. You see, she just makes me cry. Anyway, you deal with your heart set, your soul set, your mind set, and your health set. Those 4 things are the pillars of holistic health. And so really, when it comes down to it, if you're not taking care of all 4 of those things, you'll wind up with dis-ease, as Lynne said. So tell us more about your journey. And I've got to ask you this, because you mentioned English chocolate. So I guess I suspect you're a chocoholic at heart. The thing about it is, sugar in and of itself is more addictive than cocaine.
Yes.
You hear about the study?
Yes.
Tell us about the study.
The thing is, with sugar, it uses the same chemicals in the brain as does cocaine or other drugs. Now, some people may know that, some people may not. I hadn't realized that for the longest time. And it's not just the sugar, it's the processed food that processes in the brain the same way. The brain chemicals work that way. And it's very scary to me, because I had no clue that was happening to me. I was already dealing with addiction with my migraine medications, and I was hooked on narcotics, and that was one of the reasons I ended up going to the clinic here in Tampa to take care of my migraines, because I wanted off that stuff. I was trying to purify my body, live that holistic life. So when I learned from there, and they had all of the research and all of the studies they'd done with mice, everything that they had done that showed the same chemicals in the brain processing sugar. I mean, it was the same for the narcotics that I was taking. And it scared me, because once I got off the narcotics, I did not want to put myself in a position where I was allowing that into my life again. So I'm not saying I've got this 100% all the time done. There are times, and especially during the pandemic, there have been times that I've been back on that sugar hamster wheel. And it's very difficult when you get on it to get off it, because of that addiction. And I'm a kind of all or nothing gal. So I find, for me, and my clients might tell me, I love to have a bit of chocolate. Is that okay? It absolutely is. And especially if you eating something that's 98% cacao as opposed to just milk chocolate. Unfortunately, it's the dairy milk chocolate I like. But I can't do just a little bit. But if people can do a few squares of chocolate a day, more power to them, because it will help relieve that craving that you might have for something sweet without becoming addictive. I just can't do it. So now what I can do is I can take an almond or coconut yogurt, and I can put cacao powder in, so still feel like I'm getting my little bit of chocolate, but that doesn't cause me to be addicted to it. So I'm the same with carbs. I either have to do them or not do them, because if I start down that pathway, I become addicted to them. But I do believe for most people that they should be living like an 80-20 lifestyle, 80% of the time eating a good, healthy, wholesome meal, 20% of the time. Treat yourself. You can't go through life and never have what you love, because that's not going to be sustainable for you. So however you can get those treats in, you do it. I have other treats now that I can use, that I substitute for what used to be my chocolate.
I'll tell you, the fact is that all of us have our appreciations for things. And you have to nourish not just your body in terms of your nutrients, but you have to nourish your psyche. You see, you have to nourish that as well. You know, so it's important to take that time. Now, me, my weekends, I call them my cheat weekends, but my cheat weekends are healthy eating out sort of thing. So yeah. It's either some poke or some pho, some tonkatsu ramen if I want to really go that route. But my little naughty habit is Wegmans cookies. Because I discovered that, and so I have to get those in. But see, during the week, that's not what I'm doing, and that's kind of how I help my clients as well. We pick a schedule as to what we're going to do, and then the celebration day, because what is life without celebration? Right. So you wind up like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, writing that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? So we have to have that time to release and enjoy. You see, so that's certainly a wonderful thing. So tell us a little bit about your podcast and what's going on. How do you address things there?
So it's been very interesting this year. I've been doing this now for 2 years, and I've just published out my 121st episode. And most of mine is geared towards women in midlife who are dealing with issues like weight, that belly bloat, headaches, mood swings. But just because I deal with women in midlife doesn't stop me from, I'm very varied. I try to be varied in what I speak to people about. So I have men and women on as guests, and we pick a topic. Actually, I think I've had more topics around emotional eating lately than a lot of other things. I mean, we all deal with emotional eating, whether it's for comfort, whether it's because we're stressed out. I deal with anything that deals with the holistic lifestyle. I tend to shy away from people who have products to sell, or they have certain medical devices they're trying to get out there, and I try to keep it as natural as I can. So, and I do some skincare. I've had some interesting people on talking about skincare for the aging skin. But, podcasting is something that I love doing. I was in radio and TV when I first started my holistic health journey. Wow. And so I have thoroughly enjoyed having this platform myself.
Yeah, that's really nice. I'm really grateful for your time here on our show. You've brought a lot of information, a lot of encouragement to many of my guests, and when this goes back up on YouTube, and hopefully they'll subscribe and like and hit the little notification bell. That's the mantra. But they will also benefit because you have so much information. And so where can we reach you in the event that someone wants to connect with you?
Yeah, the easiest way to reach me is through my website. It's holistic, HOLISTIC hyphen health and wellness, all spelled out.com. So holistic hyphen health and wellness.com. On there, I have the ability to contact me, all of my podcasts and blogs. I have 2 free gifts that are downloadable, one for menopause, so definitely for women, but the other one is about 5 simple steps for living a healthier lifestyle. And I am on Facebook, and for women, midlife, I have the Energized Healthy Women's Club. And if you just put in a search, Energized Healthy Women, my group will come up, and always happy to have new people in there just to share their health and wellness journey and to learn from one another. It's a great community of women.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's one of the things we want to do, is celebrate and elevate our women, and we're so grateful to have you here. Lynne Wadsworth, I just got one more question for you that I ask all my guests. You've been through a lot in your own health journey, and now you're helping others do so. So I ask you, Lynne Wadsworth, what does it mean to you to crush your mountain?
To me, to crush my mountain is to stay on that healthy path for life. So having lived a not healthy life and having lived a yo-yo dieter's life, to me, to crush my mountain means that I have been able to rise above that and live a fully natural life. Doesn't mean I don't have health issues, doesn't mean I don't deal with things, but I know how I can simplify my life, add in these simple steps on a daily basis so that I can live in that winning celebratory streak of my life throughout my life as I age. And I have to say that as I've aged, I felt better than I felt when I was in my 30s and 40s.
Absolutely, and that's a beautiful thing. I can fully attest to that. I found a picture of when I was in about 21, 22, and I had my shirt off doing my little crab pose. And then I just earlier this year, we were at the beach, and I had my shirt, did the crab pose, and I said to my wife, "Your husband, look at me now," which I was kind of happy because I was happy about it, and it's nice to have that feeling. You see what I'm saying? And it's not impossible to have that feeling. So that's what we want to encourage everyone to do this point in your life. And no matter what age you're in, okay, understand again that being a holistic person means that you're taking care of as Robin Sharma says, your heart set, your health set, your mindset, and your soul set. So take charge of who you are. Look at the foods, not just in terms of dieting, but living and eating lifestyle. And then take the time to look at the things that nourish you on other levels than just what the foods that you put in, the music you listen to, the songs that you hear, what resonates with you, what relaxes you as opposed to getting you all frenzied. What things, what connections, what people give you energy, and what people who might be your friends actually take away energy. You see, all of those things is part of a holistic lifestyle, a holistic wellness. So we want to thank Lynne again. And friends, you know what I always say, and I'll say it again, don't just climb your mountain, crush through it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again, Lynne.
Thank you.